Chiefs, Wyatt. So when I look at the Kansas City Chiefs schedule here, I'm like, man, when do they get a break? Because it is just game after game after game. Whereas like they, just like the Arizona Cardinals, they could easily start 0-6, 0-7 on the season. So the first game that I have circled is obviously that week 6 game here. So before I talk about that game, I want to tell you guys who I have winning the first 5 games of the season. I had them beating the Cardinals, I had them beating the Chargers, had them beating the Colts, losing to the Bucks, beating the Raiders at home on Monday night. And then this is the pivotal game of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Why is this week 6 matchup versus Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? So spoiler alert, I have the Kansas City Chiefs right now going 11-6. I have them beating the Buffalo Bills in this week six game. But looking back on it, why I had the Kansas City Chiefs going 8-0 at home. The Kansas City Chiefs have not gone undefeated at home for 7 years. 7 years they have not gone undefeated at home. Yes, this is the loudest stadium in the world. Yes, they have a great team. Yes, the defense is going to be much improved. But going 8-0 at home, that is a stretch for me. So right here on the air, that week 6 matchup, I am going to pick the Buffalo Bills beating the Kansas City Chiefs at home, and I have them going 10-7 on season. Do they make the playoffs? I don't know yet. We have not broken down the rest of the AFC, but looking at it hindsight, I don't think 10 wins, Wyatt, is enough to get into the playoffs because the AFC is so loaded. And Combs, as a Chiefs fan, it hurts me to say this, but Combs might be right. The Kansas City Chiefs might be on the outside in looking into the playoffs. Wyatt, what are your thoughts about this year's schedule?
Well, as I look at the schedule here, there is a total of 1, 2, 3 being the Jaguars, Texans, and Seahawks. There are like 3 gimme games on the schedule, but it does not matter. It does not matter. They play the Cardinals in week 1. Oh my gosh, Dan. They got Cardinals, that's a playoff team week 1. Week 2, they got the Chargers, that's a playoff team. Colts, that's a playoff team. Then the Buccaneers, that's a playoff team. Then the Raiders, that's a playoff team. Then the Bills, that's a playoff team. Then the Niners, that's a playoff team. Then the Titans, a possible playoff team. Wow. The first 8 weeks of the season, they play possible playoff teams. I mean, all guys who could be in the playoffs. And then they play the Jags after that, and then they're right back into the fire. They play the Chargers, then the Rams, then the Bengals. Then they play the Super Bowl champions. Then the very following week, they play the Super Bowl runner-up. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Then they got the Broncos at Mile High. Jesus! Then they get 2 gimme weeks back to back. They play at NRG Stadium in Houston. Played the Texans. Then they play the Seahawks at home. So those are 2 nice games, and then the real test comes. Those final 2 games are going to be so vitally important. I still have them winning 10 games this year, and I still think they'll make the playoffs. One of these 4 teams in this division is going to get injured, and they're going to be the team that falls out of it. If Kansas City stays completely healthy, there's not a doubt in my mind they still make the playoffs. They're still a 10-winning team. I get it. They lost Tyreek. They still got Travis Kelce. They picked up Juju Smith-Schuster. They got Sky Moore. They got Marquez Valdes-Scantling. They've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They've got a defense that's still, while it's not the greatest defense in the league, they've still got a capable defense. And the most important thing, they've got the Magic Man. They've got Patrick Mahomes. That's all you need. He will get you to the playoffs. He is that guy. So I still got him winning 10 games. And looking at this here, my key games for this, obviously, you could go with any of the first 8 games as key games. But the 2 main ones that I'm really looking at are week 17 and week 18. They play the Broncos at home and they play the Raiders in Vegas. If they win these 2 games, they're for sure, in my opinion, going to make the playoffs. Those are the make or break games, though. That right there is, if they lose those games, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. So if they can end the season on in the last 4 games, if they can win 3 of those games, I think that they make the playoffs. They can possibly give up 1 to the Raiders or 1 to the Broncos. They can't give up both, though.
Yeah.
This division is just way too good. It's
Yeah.
just they're ridiculous.
You are 100% correct on that. So the Kansas City Chiefs are the first team ever, Wyatt, to play the first 8 games of the season from playoff teams from the previous year. So
That's ridiculous.
yeah, so they definitely had their work out cut for them. But on the other side of the coin, they only had it was the 5th hardest schedule in the